Today we will be learning how to prepare a garden bed. The materials that you will need to prepare a garden bed are a shovel, rake, fork, fertilizer, compost, and pipelines for irrigation. The shovel and fork will be used to loosen, sift, and turn the soil to allow for efficient growing. The first steps in preparing the bed are to remove the soil staples that hold the water lines in place. Rake off all excess hay and leaves, and move the water lines aside. Then, start in the middle of the bed and loosen up the soil as deep as the shovel head, and turn over the soil, moving back from the center at each dig. It is easiest if you have a partner on the opposite side of the bed also working their way out to the edge while shoveling starting from the middle. You can then work together across the length of the bed. Starting in the middle of the bed will be easier on your back because if you do this and work your way back to the edge, you will always be digging in a place where soil has already been loosened. Break up any large amounts of soil as you go as well. We loosen up the soil to prepare the beds for optimal root growth. The next step is adding soil amendments to your bed. If you are preparing a bed from home, it is a good idea to test your soil before you add amendments to make sure you only add what you need. At Fertile GroundWorks, we first add compost, and we retrieve the compost from the compost mounds using wheelbarrows for transport. First, pour the compost across the entire bed. You are aiming to get 1 to 2 inches of new compost across the whole bed. The amount of compost you need is determined by the size of the bed, and for a 100 square feet bed, you will need 3 to 4 wheelbarrows of compost. The next step is adding fertilizer. At Fertile GroundWorks, we use the University of Massachusetts lab or local labs fertilizer. This slow-release complete organic fertilizer was developed by Steve Solomon, and we make it in the Fertile GroundWorks garden, and it is also available online. It has an application of 1 quart for every 25 square feet. At Fertile GroundWorks, we sprinkle 1 quart or 1 metal bucketful of fertilizer every 6 feet of bed space. Next, use a fork or shovel to start in the middle of the bed and begin working your way out to the edges, like you previously did when loosening the soil. Put the blade in the soil, about 6 to 8 inches deep, and flip the mixture so the compost and fertilizers are now in root zone. Use the shovel to mix the soil and compost a bit more. If you are using a fork, put the tines in about 8 inches deep and lift the soil, compost, and amendments up, and then use a sifting motion to mix the fertilizer into the soil. At Fertile GroundWorks, we call this method the shake and bake. Once the fertilizer, compost, and soil is mixed, rake the soil completely flat. This will prevent water from puddling up in low spots. Then, use the soil staples to place the irrigation system back on the bed. When placing this back on the bed, make sure that the lines are straight and the emitters are facing up. After this, secure the agribond back on the bed. The agribond is the white cloth, and this is used to help keep weed seeds from blowing into your newly prepped bed, and also helps keep the moisture in the soil. A covering of cardboard will also work, and even better, it will block sunlight from reaching any weeds that might already be in the bed and prevent their germination. The bed is now prepped and ready for planting.